Yes.
Yeah, you can go for it. We're live.
All right, we're live again, and this will be the third attempt of bringing you guys all of your fantasy needs for the day. So, with that said, all right, you nailed first base. I'm going to throw in two names real quick that I'm on today. One of them is Adrian Gonzalez. I think he's in a great spot. He has a 469, or the pitcher has a 469 WOBA against left-handed hitters. He has 5 home runs against Bailey in his career. He's my BVP play of the day. I nailed this yesterday with Martin Prada. I'm going to go back to the well again today with Adrian Gonzalez. So I'm on him. And the other guy I'm looking at is Mitch Moreland. He's in a good spot today, I think. He's batting in the 4 hole. I think, hold on, I think that's where I saw him. Yeah, he's batting in the 3 hole, I'm sorry, against Gibson for Minnesota. And I think he's in a great spot in that game, as is almost every hitter in the Texas lineup. So I'm just going to throw those two names out there. Are you liking any of those guys?
Yeah, I obviously always love Adrian Gonzalez. He's one of my favorite players in baseball. Just really consistent hitter. Um, Back and healthy again this year, swinging a really great bat, and he's got flashing some power. Appears to be he's found that power stroke once again. I do. If there's one guy that I do think can get to Homer Bailey in that Dodgers lineup tonight, it's going to be Adrian Gonzalez, and he will have the luxury of having guys like D. Gordon who can get on steal a base and get in scoring position for him. So I like the Adrian Gonzalez pick. I will say I don't believe that Mitch Moreland is first base eligible on Draft Street. I think he's either DH or outfield. But either way, I would agree with you that he is in a good spot. Kind of really quietly, hitting for average this year. And another stat that I saw the other day, he has really great average with runners in scoring position as well. He is outfield eligible on our sponsor Draft Street, but he does have a really nice price. And hitting third in that lineup, like you said, not the best place to hit home runs, but he's certainly a guy that I'm going to be targeting pretty much across the industry based on his cheap price tag as well. So I do like him in addition to Lind, Encarnacion. Those were my two guys, and don't sleep on my boy Jason Giambi tonight.
Yeah, and the last time we did a show and Giambi was in the lineup, he had a home run. So just so you guys know that, I'm just throwing that out there. And it wouldn't be a show if I didn't mention David Ortiz. So with that said, David Ortiz, tournament play him. Let's move on to second base. We're going to kind of rapid fire this, guys. We got 22 minutes to get in all these positions. I'm looking at two guys at second base today. I'm looking at Dozier and Beckham. He has 9 hits out of the last 10 games. He has a 481 batting average against left-handed hitters, or left-handed pitchers. I'm sorry. And Dozier, he's one of those guys that bring you power to the table and also gives you the stolen base, potential. So I'm high on him also with his 11 home runs and 12 stolen bases this year. So I think he has potential for both of those things. Those are my two guys. Who you liking at second base?
Well, I was all over Dozier, and I still am for the most part. But that was before I read that Jason Kipnis is back in the lineup tonight. Fresh off the DL, he was actually ready to go last night, but they had some roster moves to make where they decided to give him an extra day's rest. So he's back in the lineup tonight. He's batting cleanup, and he's got a nice moderate price pretty much throughout the industry. I think a lot of people will overlook the fact that he's back in the lineup, but he's got about as good a matchup as anyone tonight. So I'm all over Kipnis. He's my number one option simply because, especially in tournaments, I think he's going to fly under the radar. He's got a moderate price, and it's Jason Kipnis. He's got the pedigree to go along with to back up pretty much any price. He's a guy that's got power. He also can steal a bag occasionally, though I don't expect him to be running too much tonight. That being said, he is hitting in a hitter's park, and he's got a nice matchup, so I'm all over Kipnis tonight. What are your thoughts on him?
I just officially got the text from ESPN saying he's been activated. So, no, I'm on him also, and he always slips my mind just because I didn't write him down because I read that he was going to be activated on the way home from work. So I'm going to be probably splitting between Dozier and him in a good amount of my games tonight. So. Is there anybody cheap that you're looking at besides those two guys?
Um, well, I also do like Beckham. I don't think he's necessarily has too much value on Draft Street tonight, but I think he's in a great spot as well. Really both, I expect that game to be very high scoring. But if you're looking for some value, pretty much all the way down towards the bottom, you got Jed Jerko. And in a GPP, I think that he's a great punt option at only around just under 4,000 if you're looking to save some money there. Obviously, double check to make sure he's in the lineup, but I think he will get the start tonight and taking on, like I said, an unproven pitcher. Churko's a guy that in a hitter's park as well, I believe is in a good spot. So if you're looking to punt, that's about really all I like. I do think that Danny Worth all the way down there at as cheap as it gets at 2,500 is going to get to start tonight against the left-hander. If you're looking to punt, you could consider him. The same with Nick Franklin, but these guys just don't have great matchups, and I think that as cheap as I would prefer to go would be to a guy like Jerko.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Well, with that said, let's move on to third base. Who's your top option at third base tonight?
Well, third base is kind of tricky. It really pretty much has been all season long. But there's really only a couple guys that are going to break the bank. I would say that my top option. Let me double check to make sure he's in the lineup here. Is Adrian Beltre. Yeah, he's been in the lineup batting cleanup. It kind of threw me off when I saw that Mitch Moreland was batting third. But he's a guy that's been hitting right-handers much better than left-handers this year up against Gibson. I think that Beltre is the top option. I also like Longoria if you do plan on spending. But a guy that is seemingly still flying way under the radar is Lonnie Chisenhall, all the way down there at 5,500. I think he is, probably one of the optimal plays tonight based on price. Obviously he's hitting in a great hitter's environment. He's batting 370, and it's a quiet 370 because he only got 2 home runs, but he's starting to move up in the order. He's batting fifth tonight, and I'm targeting a lot of these Indians bats. I'm thinking they're going to break out in a big way tonight. So Chisenhall is definitely in play for me as well if you're looking to save a little bit of money.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with Noasi having a 7.32 ERA against left-handed hitters, does it?
Well, yeah, that's the entire reason.
So no, but I'm with you. Longoria is actually third on my list. I do have Beltre as my number one third baseman also. My number two guy is Chisenhall. Like you said, he's flying under the radar. People are not playing him. My number fourth option though is Plouffe, and I think he's in a good spot too. And I just had a question in chat. Would you rather take Plouffe or Longo? I think it's Longo. If they're the same price, I think that's a pretty easy one for me.
Yeah, I would do the same. Obviously a much more established hitter. Um, I think that both are in good spots, but Longo's in a little bit of a better hitting situation out there in Rogers Center. Both have great matchups. Obviously, Plouffe, guy that hits lefties a little bit better than righties. The splits are working in Plouffe's favor a bit, but Longoria's got the BVP and obviously the pedigree of being one of the better hitters. I know he's kind of had a power dip so far this year, but I'm not concerned about him. It's only a matter of time before he gets it rolling. And Longoria is a guy that if you do fade him, he's a guy that can definitely make you pay for it.
Yeah, and he has 11 hits over the last 6 games with 3 multi-game hits, so he's starting to warm up a little bit, and now would be a good time to jump on him because his price is still down a little bit across the industry, not so much on Draft Street, but I think that nails third base. We're going to be cut here for time, so let's move on to shortstop. I think everybody's top option is going to be Troy Tulowitzki. Is there somebody that you're looking at besides Troy Tulowitzki?
Well, Tulo's not in the lineup, so that makes
Oh,
things a little bit difficult. Yeah, he's getting the day off tonight. They're starting Rutledge out there at shortstop tonight, which is going to make things difficult for me because I really thought that Tulo's in a great spot hitting out there in Philadelphia, taking on Roberto Hernandez. That sinker baller. His swing is built to take it. Fausto Carmona deep, but with that, my top option instantly becomes Jose Reyes. And as a close second, even though his price, especially on Draft Street, is not ideal, it's going to be Alexei Ramirez. His batting average at home as opposed to on the road this year, I saw a stat the other day, it's very drastic. So he likes hitting out there. He's comfortable in his surroundings. He's got a great matchup against a lefty. And he's, as much as I haven't been on him pretty much all season long, I'm definitely going to have some shares of him tonight.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. I've had him in fantasy for the season-long Roto-Grinders League, so I've actually been using him just because of what he's been doing for my team there. Don't ever recommend doing that for anybody, but yeah, Jose Reyes is my top guy with Tulo out. He's hit in 10 straight, and he has 6 stolen bases in those 10 games, so he's giving you the ability to get on base and steal, so he's definitely in for me, but I'm liking a guy towards the bottom. I'm going to let you try to guess it here. I'm going to give you a hint. It might be a guy that we've talked about a couple times tonight.
Couple times tonight?
Or a team that we've talked about. And he's not actually shortstop eligible on shortstop or on Draft Street, so you won't find him on Draft Street, but the team we've targeted a couple times already tonight.
I have no idea.
Stumped you. Yes, I did my job. No, Edwin Nunez.
Okay, yeah. Eduardo Nunez. I saw him. I know he's got a rock bottom price on FanDuel, and I'm really targeting him over there. He's in that lineup to play third, and they're giving Plouffe the rest as the DH. So they obviously are looking at his bat a little bit more than Pinto's tonight. He's had a couple big games here since being called back up from the minors. Obviously going against the left-hander. Saunders, I think that Eduardo Nunez is definitely in play as a nice value option. You did have me a little stumped there because I'm sitting here looking at the shortstops, but I'm liking him where he is shortstop eligible.
Yeah, Draft Street he's third base eligible, and he's right around the same price as Chisenhall, so I don't recommend him on Draft Street. I wouldn't even play him in the utility spot at that much, but I do like him across the industry at his cheap price tag, and he wasn't doing that well at the beginning of the season because he was a little banged up, and I think he's finally healthy, so I think he's in a good spot tonight. But with that said, I think that nails shortstop. Is there anybody else that you want to talk about at shortstop?
Nope. I think that pretty much covers it.
Look at that. We have all these technical difficulties out in Nashville, and we're still rolling with it. But outfield, top outfield, who you like?
It's loaded, as usual, out there in the outfield tonight. The guys that have been swinging the bat the hottest, Nelson Cruz and Carlos Gomez, I think, don't have the best matchups in the world, but they've been proving that they're pretty much matchup proof at this point. I'm also liking Brantley, who's been swinging an incredibly hot stick. And then also, the two lefties in the lineup for the Rockies. You got Charlie Blackmon and Corey Dickerson. So I think those guys are in play as well. Obviously, Trout's in play, and Chu, leading off against the right-hander, are in play as well. But that's pretty much my top outfield if you're looking to spend. Would be those 5 guys.
Yeah, we're on the same guys, that's for sure. So I think my top option for tournaments tonight is definitely going to be Chu. I think he's in a good spot. He's probably my top guy, and then I would look at Yasiel Puig as my second tournament guy. His stats are just incredible right now. He's 40 for his last 96 with 7 home runs. He's just swinging a very hot bat, and there's no way that I can't play him right now. If I can fit him in, with his price being, kind of high, if I'm playing him, I'm playing him because I think he's going to have a good game.
Okay, yeah, and I don't have a problem with Puig. I will say that if Homer Bailey's, if he's got all his pitches working tonight, that game could be a lot closer than I think a lot of people anticipate. Homer Bailey is, experienced enough at this point in his career that if he's got all his stuff working, he could make Puig look pretty ridiculous at the plate. I'm not off of Puig by any means. And to your Chu point, he's more of a guy that I like to target in cash games. I do think his matchup is great tonight, especially since he will have, stolen base potential against a righty. power potential, and just a really great overall matchup in general. But he's the guy that I prefer more in cash games if I'm going to pay up as opposed to GPPs because he's just consistently good, especially against righties. But he doesn't ever really seem to have these monster games like a Puig, or a Trout can, put together. So just offer that piece of advice up there for the viewers.
Yeah, of course. I agree with you to a sense. I just think he's in a good matchup, and he has good ability tonight to have a multi-hit game and have a multi-run game. So I think he's in play for me. I do have him in my cash game lineups, and I do have him in my tournament lineups. So I can see your point with that. Going towards the bottom of the barrel, looking at outfielders, I think Tampa Bay. I think you can play any of those guys in the Tampa Bay outfield. They're cheap across the industry tonight. I think they're all in good spot.
Oh yeah, DeJesus, Myers, even Jennings and Joyce definitely do have some nice cheap price tags. A little hesitant, perhaps against stacking these guys, perhaps in every one of your lineups, because this team has been struggling up to this point in the season, and their prices are cheap for very good reasons because they haven't really been producing. But I do think they are in a good spot here tonight. You also got guys like Hayward, who hit a home run last night, who's got a really nice price as well. Another guy I want to throw out there who might fly under the radar tonight, but I'm all over, is Josh Willingham. Obviously only a couple games removed from, an injury that he, just recovered from. But he's back in the lineup, fifth, against a guy that he can crush in Joe Saunders. So in a GPP, I'm definitely all over Josh Willingham. And then I haven't seen the Padres lineup. I don't believe it's out yet, but I think that Parra and Venable hitting hopefully at the top of their respective lineups. I know Parra's batting second. Are in for a good spot at very cheap price tags as well.
Yeah, speaking of that Padres, I'm pulling it up right now to see. Yeah, Seth Smith is 6,700 on Draft Street, but his price across the industry is really still down, and I don't understand why. He's swinging such a good bat. But Draft Street,
Yeah.
I wouldn't really recommend him on Draft Street because of his price at 6,700. There's some other guys in that price range that I like a little bit better. But across the board, he's so hot. I don't know why his price is still down.
Yep, I'm with you right there. I've been all over pretty much the last month of the season, and he's been paying it off. He's just so consistent. Against right-handed pitching. Obviously, his numbers, oddly enough, are better at Petco, but in a nice hitting environment like he's going to have tonight, I think Seth Smith could definitely be a nice GPP option because he's going to fly under the radar, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I agree with you. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and throw them out into the chat, and we'll get to them. My other BVP player, I told you I like Adrian Gonzalez. Another guy I like if the game plays is Matt Holliday. 11 for 26 in his career against Kuroda, and Kuroda has not been pitching that well this year. So I think Holliday is definitely one of those guys if you're looking for a tournament play. He's another one of my BVP guys.
Yeah, Holliday, he's got a swing, similar to what I was kind of talking about Tulo, where it's very level swing, and when you get a sinker baller, you're going to need a level swing, and you're going to need to be able to hit the low ball. Obviously, Holliday is a guy that can do both, and he was doing these numbers when Kuroda, was a much better pitcher back when he was on the Dodgers. So I agree with you. I am all over Holliday. I do like his price. I haven't seen it on our sponsor Draft Street, but I know over on FanDuel he's only around 3,200, and that's pretty much a steal for a guy of his caliber.
Yeah, he's 6,200 on Draft Street. And while we're mentioning Draft Street, I'm going to pull up their tournaments for tonight real quick because they are sponsoring us today. And if it will load, see, I'm having internet issues here in Florida too. I can't get the page to load. But anyway, all right, here it is. They got a $10,000 109 buy-in that's overlaying 53 spots right now with an hour and a half to go. So that's looking like it's going to overlay. They have an $8,000 guaranteed $22 buy-in that's overlaying about 200 spots right now. So that's looking good. And the $5 tournament's about full. So if you guys want to jump in the $2,500 $5 tournament, that's another tournament to check out. So those are the three big tournaments, and they already have their 109 qualifier for Friday open. So if you guys want to go ahead and throw your lineup or reserve your spot for that, I would go ahead and do that early. I'm going to pull up chat. Here's one for you. Galvin Floyd, a decent second pitching option.
No, not for me tonight. Perhaps if they were playing in Atlanta, where he would, be in a bigger, more spacious ballpark. I know that Boston, has had their struggles hitting pretty much all season long, but I'm not going to take that risk tonight, even in a GPP pitching in Fenway Park against, a lineup that's just, chomping at the bit to really break out and have a big game. I really think, and Stevie, you know all about this, that this one's going to turn into a Fenway game. I do like Lackey a bit, but even if he struggles a little bit early, they're going to get these bullpens in here, and this is going to be one of these Fenway games where it's like 11-8 at the final score. It looks more like a football score than a baseball score. I just like so much offense going tonight. So I wouldn't take a risk on Gavin Floyd.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and I'm not a big fan of right-handed pitchers at Fenway just because of the short porch at right field and the short porch at left field. If we're going to get into that, you hit a fly ball to left field, it's going to hit the monster. Mm-hmm. You don't even need a home run. But that said, Melky Cabrera and Pedroia or Adam Lynn and I'm guessing Carlos Gomez.
Yeah, it'd probably be Carlos Gomez. I would lean towards Lynn and Gomez. I think that Lynn is in a good spot tonight, and while he's more of a boomer or bust guy, Gomez has been consistently hitting the ball well, and I just think that combination has a lot more upside than Melky and Pedroia. What's your take on that?
I'm with you on that one. I like Pedroia just about any night at second base in cash games because I think he's pretty consistent. But Gavin Floyd's actually had pretty good success against Pedroia in the past, so I'm gonna go with you on that one. Just I think, like you said, more upside in that second combo than that first combo. But Matt Carpenter or Trevor Plouffe for the FanDuel Survivor.
That's a tough one because Carpenter's, obviously as consistent as it comes, and at $3,100, especially on FanDuel, I do love his price. But I'm going to lean towards Plouffe. I think that a lot of more people are going to be on Plouffe, and you don't want to get burned by him. Is basically my point. I'm also concerned about the weather in St. Louis. It's not looking good right now. I think they'll find a way to get that game in. But I'm definitely off the pitchers, and I do need to do a little bit more research on that weather. So monitor that situation. You really can't go wrong with either, in my opinion. But I think that Plouffe has a little bit more upside, and he's going to be, you're going to be following the pack with him taking Plouffe.
Yeah, I can see that, and it's kind of tough. Like you said, you want to kind of follow the pack, and if Plouffe has a bad game, I think he could be one of those guys that probably closer to like 25-30% owned tonight, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, so I'm basically, my point is that you won't get burned, at least in my opinion, fading or taking Plouffe as opposed to fading him, and if he goes off, you're going to have to make up a lot of ground there. So that's basically why I would lean towards Plouffe. Like I said, don't hate any of those options. But Kuroda is certainly capable of coming out and throwing a good game. And then if there's a rain delay, it turns into a bullpen situation where Carpenter might be forced to face a lot of lefties as opposed to Kuroda. So you know what you're going to get from Plouffe. You're going to get Saunders a couple of bats, at least probably 2 or 3 against him. And if they get to him, then Plouffe will probably be in on that. So.
All right. Well, with that said, we're getting here to 5:30 and the show behind us. Hopefully that they have everything fixed out at the office. So, with that said, you have any final words, Boggs?
Nope. Just we apologize for these technical difficulties they do happen from time to time. But thank you guys for bearing with us, and good luck tonight.
Yep. Good luck, guys.